Good afternoon, and welcome to the Penfield Energy and Environmental Conservation Committee meeting of March 12th. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Cynette Cavaliere, the chair, and I am going to ask that we start with John and introduce ourselves.
Cynette?
Oh, wait.
Can
pause.
we actually introduce our new member?
Yes.
First?
So,
do you mind if I do?
No, would you go ahead, Sarah, would you go ahead and introduce our new member?
So since our last meeting, Stephen Daly was actually requested to be part of the town's planning board, and as such, he resigned from this committee. So the town board had interviews, and they chose Kenneth Krein as our new committee member. So I'd like to welcome Ken. And also, as a side note, thank Stephen Daly for his participation, as he contributed greatly, as I'm sure Ken will as well. And then if you're good, we can go around. And Ken, would you mind kind of introducing yourself when we get to you?
You'll see the motto. It doesn't have to be intense, but if you do want to add anything, that's fine as well here. Okay, now at this point, welcome Ken, and thanks Steve. John, would you like to start?
Yeah, of course. John Bennett, committee member.
Katie Rygg, committee member.
Cheremeteff, committee member.
Roy Green, committee member.
Pat Schichler, committee member.
Kenneth Krein, committee member.
Matt Prinzing, Planning Department, Staff Liaison.
Sarah Waterman, Engineering Department, Staff Liaison.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our first order of business is the review and approval of the minutes from the February 12th meeting. May I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any corrections or additions?
Yes, on page 2 of old business, page 2 with old business, it says that the event, the Arbor Day celebration is March 2nd. It should be May 2nd.
Aha.
Ooh, good catch.
Thanks for catching that.
And then, this is really nitpicky, but the adjournment is an hour off, so anyway, it can be.
No, we'd like it corrected, so thank you.
Cynette had other corrections too that were technical in nature, so those have been reflected in the latest version. But yes, we'll make those changes as well.
So we adjourned at 4:57?
5:37.
Yeah, mine says 6:37 at the moment.
Oh.
Daylight savings.
I'm confused that I have January ones stacked on top of each other. Okay. Given those corrections, do you want to call the question?
For the approval of the minutes, Bennett,
Aye.
Rygg,
Aye.
Cheremeteff,
Aye.
Green,
Aye.
Schichler,
Aye.
Cavaliere,
Aye.
Krein.
Aye.
Okay. Standing report for the Monroe County Environmental Management Council. Just because I've been swamped, did you have a chance to send those out as well?
I don't believe so. I will
Okay.
after this meeting.
Okay.
But yes, so
I
Cynette
was
submitted
very
these.
timely in getting them sent to him, which means not very timely.
You have to wait to get them
Yes.
to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah. So I did submit minutes from which month am I up to? February meeting. And our meeting topic was 100 Acres Nature Park and the restoration of some trees there. So it was a very good presentation for us by Beth Hoke, who was one of our members, and then she was joined by Jacob Kearney, who is a forestry guy for Monroe County Soil and Water. So hopefully you'll get to enjoy this presentation. Really talked about the Rush Recreation and the Nature Center Park over there, which is along the Genesee River. So it looks like a really fun place to go and visit. I kind of encourage all of us to take a ride over there sometime and go and see it. And then the second half was a lot about the restoration of some trees. They've gotten some grants to replant some trees that had been taken down by the ash borer. That was the biggest loss of trees they have, and that they've been really focusing on putting in some American chestnuts as replacements, along with some other diversity, kind of as you talk about all the time, to make sure we have some of that diversity in there. Our next meeting in March is the presentation will be from the RIT capstone group, who does the stormwater diversion practices for the Rochester Museum Science Center. So that'll be an interesting one to have.
And then I'll add, because it was relevant to your meeting, they briefly discussed the Envirothon. We'll have 2 employees from the town of Penfield that will participate in the judging for that.
Okay. And then there was a lot of information attached to it about some grant opportunities that are out there. So hopefully you guys got to scan to see if any of those were relevant. Any questions on that? Okay. Just to fill you in on that, one member of this committee gets to be a part of the Monroe County level. And so for right now, it's me. It's a lot of fun. Probably twice a year, I'm unable to go. So then these committee members or a town representative will pick up that slot.
Okay, thank you.
So it's good to have. Okay, on to review of required items. The first one is town development projects.
Yeah, so this is just an update to a project that the town, or that EECC previously reviewed, the 1320 Harris Road project. This was a 2-lot subdivision. This is the pre-existing home. This is approximately where the second home was going to be built, or is proposed to be built. EECC's report effectively asked that the planning board require the replacement of, I'm blanking on the number of trees, was it 12 trees, based on the amount of disturbance to the woodland epod. The one thing that the planning board is waiting on at this point is for the DEC to approve the wetland delineation. So essentially, the applicant at this point has gotten a positive parcel JD, which only tells us that there are wetlands on the property, which if so JD is the jurisdictional determination letter that the DEC now requires for projects that are in proximity or have wetlands in the area. And I'm just going to pull up the wetlands layer here just to show. So this
I
is
don't
the
recall
brown
them.
layer here is the woodland epod. So that's where the disturbance was approximately here, and that's where the replacement policy requires the 12 trees be replaced. The purple line here is showing the New York State DEC's informational wetlands, and that essentially means that there may be wetlands in that area. And so the applicant has done a wetland delineation, but until they go through the process of requesting a project JD, so that's more specific to the project that they're proposing, and it takes into account their wetland delineation and the project that they're proposing, then we'll have confirmation of whether or not the project will have adverse impacts and whether or not the project will require a permit from the New York State DEC for any actions in the wetlands or their adjacent regulated area. And so, yes, that's the planning board has tabled this pending further information from the DEC regarding the project JD.
So as I recall, the way the delineation appears now, they were not going to be, they were within required distance,
Yes.
but it
It's on the
might
site
be
plan.
redetermined.
Right. Effectively, if the DEC says that the delineation needs to be changed, or if they need to resubmit for whatever reason, and that delineation shifts it so that not only, it could be that just the structure itself needs to move, and basically the grading and the structure itself are pretty much right on that 100-foot buffer from the wetland. And so if it did need to shift, then that may require the property lines, the proposed subdivision, to shift as well, which prompted the planning board to absolutely we need to check with the DEC, make sure that this delineation isn't going to change at a later date. So.
And also, to be clear, the delineation is reflected on the site plan set, but this is not the
No,
formal
this is-
delineation. This is just the informational wetlands.
Right.
Do you know where they are in the process? There's been no communication? Because it's been over 60 days, hasn't it?
I mean, they got their parcel JD last month, I believe. So I don't think that it's been 60 days from the time that they would have requested a project JD.
Okay.
But
So
again,
this
yeah, I
is-
don't have specifics on when they would have requested that.
This is a lengthy process, that.
Oh, yes.
Well, they
This
could have
is not
submitted for
outside of
both
the
in the
norm.
same time.
I know,
but
that's what I
I
would've
don't know why
thought.
they didn't
can't
do a
get-
project JD right out of the gate.
Unless they were convinced they weren't going to be in any kind of informational or,
I think for some people, it's still a little confusing, the process, if like they haven't done
That's
it
true.
since the changes were made. Now, I can't speak to if they have or
The
not.
consultant should know.
Disagree.
Just throwing it out there.
So who knows why, but this is where we are.
Okay.
Okay, that's good to know.
okay. Any other questions on that one?
Nope.
Okay. So, and that's our only town development project of interest?
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
just a follow-up to that. And to clarify, it would only come back to EECC if it was deemed that there was a regulated activity occurring within the wetlands, or, so effectively, if
Or
they
within the
need
buffer.
a permit from the DEC, then it may come back to EECC at that time. But if it comes back and the DEC says that their delineation is fine as is, then it just potentially would be approved by the planning board at that time.
Okay,
So,
good.
But yes, there are no new projects for EECC to review at this time.
Do we have any requests from the town board?
None at this time.
Okay. Is there any update on clean energy community actions?
We did receive notification that that NYSERDA is currently soliciting feedback from municipalities on proposed updates for Pond 4. And those are due March 20th. So we started to review the differences. If you're good for it, I'll share the current differences between the proposed Pond 4 and Pond 3
Yeah,
that
they were
has
very
expired.
interesting.
After the 16-month hiatus, they're close to relaunching. They're hoping to, within the second quarter of this year. Proposed updates include a different funding structure, 13 new proposed high-impact action items. Previously, there were 3 high-impact action items, possible changes to the previous high-impact action items. They may not remain the same and include those previous 3. That's unclear. In addition of a medium-sized community designation, currently there's a small and large. We would fall into this medium-sized, and that's 5,000 to 39,999 residents. Questions that they're looking for the answers to are how NYSERDA can improve this round of the program, how NYSERDA can better support the communities, and what level of funding to the communities is needed to complete projects. These are similar questions to what they've asked throughout the different ponds of municipality staff. So it's not a surprise to receive these questions. 2 major updates that are not very clearly listed are that there's currently no proposed look-back period. So projects completed since the close of Pond 3, which is November 7th, 2024, would not be eligible for credit. And that includes our high-impact action items of the community campaigns that we've been collecting information for. And then Climate Smart Communities has been removed from high-impact action items. So that would no longer be included if we were to be officially recognized as a climate smart community. Additionally, the town's CEC coordinator has advised us to voice any concerns, especially since we've been continuing projects throughout the process, as he was encouraged previously to encourage municipalities to do. And then again, the deadline is March 20th for comments. So,
So are you making comments?
yes.
And is a primary one talking about that idea of the look-back period?
So it's talking about the look-back period. It's also the consideration of projects that previously had funding, which we are included in for our charging stations that are in the process. Those would not be approved as they were completed during that look-back period. And previously, those types of projects that had grant funding from CEC would have been included. Additionally, we want to encourage them to continue including community campaigns. We want to encourage them to include energy efficiency upgrades, among a few other things that the town is looking to continue moving forward with. And really, that's partially because it's in our best interest as the town of Penfield, but also because they are beneficial activities for energy efficiency and clean energy communities.
Okay. Yeah, I especially like the idea of the community campaigns because that's the really reaching out into our community to have an impact. So it seems to.
And long-term, that's going to benefit the community as a whole when we're also considering our future climate action plans. So,
Sarah, could you repeat those three questions that they?
Sure.
Thanks.
how NYSERDA can improve this round of the program, so that would be PON 4. How NYSERDA can better support communities and that's essentially for completing actions. And then what level of funding to the communities is needed to complete projects. So that essentially touches on potential grant opportunities or anything like that.
Do you have any idea of how much you guys would benefit from having, I mean, like a reasonable quantity grants that you would really hope to get in the near future that they could supplement? I mean, is that a reasonable thing to ask in terms of a money question?
I mean, I can give you a giant range. Like there's small finance projects that we could benefit from, and then there's there's huge finance projects that we could benefit from. Realistically, any grant money is beneficial, and I would truthfully, personally encourage them to continue the same scope that they've had previously, where they have small amounts of like 5,000 to 10,000, which are really, really easy grants to get, and then larger grants of 50,000 to 150,000 that are a lot harder to get, and you have more work to follow up with, but they're more effective. And even if they choose to have those be matching grants, which they didn't previously have, that would still benefit municipalities, because having that extra funding, it really gets them moving forward, at least in those larger grants. And I could see that being a direction that NYSERDA would go, because it's gonna make their money go further if they're match grants, which again, they didn't previously have match grants.
So are they only asking for feedback from the municipalities itself, or are they open to any kind of citizen comments?
My current understanding is that they're only looking for feedback from municipalities. Now, it's information on a public website. I wouldn't be surprised if a resident went to that website and they chose to provide feedback. I would expect them to consider that. But they're only requesting it from municipalities.
Okay. Anything else from anybody else?
Yeah, are there any other questions, thoughts, information that you'd like to be shared?
Your role in Penfield is pretty unique in this area. We're really feeling really special that Penfield has a sustainability engineer.
Me too.
How it seems like we should be, is Madison Quinn using her position with the county to make sure that all the communities are supported and giving feedback at this time?
I don't know if Madison is. I wouldn't be surprised, but I know for a fact that the Clean Energy Coordinator for the communities in this area is providing assistance with feedback. In fact, he specifically listed some of the changes for us. He sent multiple emails reminding communities to provide feedback. Okay. And then I also know for a fact that there are staff members in different communities in this area that are aware of this going on, and it'd be their job to provide the feedback.
Okay. And then are the 13 new high-impact action items available to be seen? I mean, is the draft form available publicly yet?
I
don't believe so.
I don't think it is at this time. I think it's primarily a summary.
Right.
Yeah. I know that's not ideal.
Yeah. Was it like a teaser? Or, I mean, you could discern what they were headed toward, but not more than that?
Most of the information I have on that type of thing is anecdotal from our coordinator.
Okay.
And he was specifically on he is specifically on a committee with NYSERDA to help create this. And I can't speak publicly to his opinion, but I can tell you that he is very strongly encouraging communities to give feedback.
Okay.
So there's a RFP out now from NYSERDA as well for, it's 6120. It's for a clean energy communities contractor that will work on developing ways to support communities. And so I'm thinking it may feed into the program itself and how they define high-impact items, and I think they're going to develop cohorts based on different tracks.
And some of that is also, that will likely include what group is doing the coordinating in the future. As I know that there's not a formal contract for this year yet.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that there's action happening, but it still sounds a little nebulous.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a little more detail, but we'll get there.
Okay. Okay, closing that item out, we get to move into old business. And the first thing I have on the list is our Arbor Day celebration.
Yeah, so Pat brought by a carload of containers, mostly previously used planters that range from some are smaller than half-gallon, but most of them are half-gallon or gallon-sized. I'd like to put together an inventory of what we've already received, so then we have an idea of what we have, what our needs are going forward. But Pat is still collecting, correct?
Yeah, I brought another bag of
Okay.
assorted items tonight. Some might be too small.
Okay.
That's okay, we'll sort through them.
Yeah.
We're still, as committee members, if you can collect milk containers or larger planters, we'll still collect them if you want to drop them off to our
Yogurt, you
department.
said yogurt, 32-ounce yogurt containers.
Yep, or 32-ounce yogurt containers. Please make sure they're clean, as I don't want my office or our closet to smell. But feel free to drop them off and we can hold on to them.
Do we have an end date, or is just very close to when the trees get picked up?
I think we
You had
talked.
said April 14th,
That
So
sounds
then that
good.
would give us time to order in
and I
containers. if
told the folks, I've told the folks that are collecting for me to get it in by the beginning of April. So I know there, excuse me, there were a couple people that said they would collect, so I'm going to touch base with them, back at that time.
Great.
Okay.
Pat, how many do you think you got thus far?
How much, Matt, how many?
Yeah, I
mean, I'd like
really
to s-
wanted, I sorted through them, but I didn't get a final count.
80 or?
Yeah, I would say maybe not quite 100, but yeah, just under.
We need 200, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was because of one fell swoop from somebody that actually had done some work for the town in the past and had her own nursery and wasn't pursuing that at this time. So there was a whole wagon full of, from her. Wouldn't be very many without that.
Right.
Okay. So just to kind of give you the drama, in case you hadn't caught on here, we are moving the date that we're distributing the trees far enough away from the pickup date.
I would even take a step back. So Arbor Day, we do an Arbor Day celebration every year so that we qualify for Tree City USA. Previous years, we have done the Arbor Day celebration to coincide with when, because we like to do a native plant giveaway. Some years it's a shrub, some years it's a tree. This year it's going to be red oak and
Flowering something.
flowering dogwood. Is it? I think it's
That
white
sounds
oak,
right.
I think it's white oak.
Yes, white oak and flowering dogwood. And so normally we time it so that we pick them up from Monroe County Soil Water, which is who we order it through. And then we hand them out the very next day. This year, because notoriously that weekend is usually kind of rainy and mucky, this event also coincides with the town's EV car show. And so if we'd like to have it in better weather, so we moved it into May, so May 2nd is the date for that. That should be in upcoming events. Yeah, so both John and Katie have volunteered to kind of lead the fostering event, or the fostering task of keeping the plants alive for a week until we
Such pressure.
give them out.
It sounds a lot
And
longer than it should
that
be.
fostering task to keep them alive for that time is to plant them in containers
Oh, okay.
that we will give them out in.
Right.
So that they can survive that week, because they need to be planted as soon as possible to raise the rate of survival.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we are collecting containers to ideally reuse rather than purchasing, and if necessary, we'll purchase some, but just to be more environmentally friendly.
Is that where you need it by the 14th of April?
Yes, so
Okay.
we are collecting, again, 32-ounce yogurt containers, gallon jugs, gallon-sized containers, basically just so that there's enough room for the root structure to continue to be successful.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So with that, the town staff has requested a quote for promotional yard signs. We've discussed that previously and used them in previous years. Matt put together a grant application. I forget what this acronym is. I'm so sorry. For an Earth Day grant, as Matt will look up the detail, the acronym, for a permanent exterior educational display at the community center pollinator garden. So hopefully that will.
Was
work
that the
out.
Genesee Finger Lakes AWMA?
It
There you
is,
go.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe, Gary,
Educational
you're on
grant.
that, right?
I am on the board, yeah.
Yeah. So we submitted a grant for that this year. And then we will continue to update the website for the Arbor Day celebration. There will also be some essentially promotional social media items. And then the planning group for the EV show, including staff for the Arbor Day celebration, will meet regularly until May. Do you have any additions?
Can we make available QR code for the native plants guide that was put together? so
Oh,
that-
for the guide, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can do that, and we'll also have the guides for the flowering dogwood
Right.
and the white oak. We'll also have paper copies for anyone that would like to take that as well. But yes, it's a good call.
Yeah, I just thought we could,
Oh, yeah.
being that you all created this.
Yeah, between
thing
that
we should,
and we're going to have a QR code that brings people to the pollinator pathway page if they're
Great idea.
interested, so, yeah.
So we'll have a few items at the table in addition to giving away the trees.
That's a lot of QR codes. Could you just do one QR code that goes to like a little sub-page for the event?
Yes, so yeah, we can do a QR code that brings them to the Arbor Day celebration site, and then all the links will be there. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
Yeah, otherwise
That's
it's
a good
like,
point, otherwise you have this.
Right, exactly.
this,
Yeah, just one QR code for everything you need
Okay.
at the table is a good idea.
Yeah.
Are there any questions about that event, thoughts that you'd like to share?
Did you already say that, maybe you already did this, but have some applications on hand for the Penfield pollinator pathway?
Isn't it a digital?
I mean, I know it's right down the hall that people could stop by, but
Well, I mean, the.
It's only,
rec
I
department
think
will
that it
close.
would be better to advise them to just go down the hall, because we won't actually take the application.
Will it be
Like,
closed that day?
but yeah, that too.
So they can't go down the hall and submit an application that day. I think it'd probably be most beneficial for them to follow the QR code, but we can
It's
probably
also-
discuss having some information on it. at
we'll
the
have a
table.
healthy yards
Yes.
table. Sorry, we'll have a healthy yards table, and they'll have a couple copies for people to talk about it.
Yeah,
I think it's
the other thing,
nice.
too, like, personally, it's not something that I would think that somebody could just fill out based on
Right.
memory. Like,
Yeah, I
they
have a
identify
half-finished
plants on their
one.
property and things like that.
Right.
So it's more of something that you take, go home, fill it out.
Walk around your
walk around the property, things
house,
like
look
that,
up
and then bring it back. So, yeah, I mean, we can have paper copies of it to hand to them and have them fill it out at home.
I
if that
think
makes
it's
sense.
more for me, when I hear about that or think about it, it's like, oh, what, how difficult are the things to do to, see a little synopsis of, it makes you think, well, that's not that difficult.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do it right then and there. As you said, you want to investigate your yard. You may have more than you think, but to know that it's not, a horrible thing to accomplish either.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 pretty
Right.
simple steps. It's just a one-page application that almost half of it is just the 10 lines to fill out what native species you have on your property. And that's, we also have a link on there to the, an app that helps you identify plants on your property. So if you don't know how to identify the plants, then at least you can use that, and it's a free app that people can use.
So who is organizing the rest of the tabling in terms of the other organizations that are going to be joining us? Is that part of the?
A subset of Color Penfield Green is.
Okay.
And they're the ones that have hosted the previous EV shows. And again, we'll discuss at the joint meeting, and I point to Katie because she participates in that as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's primarily members of Color Penfield Green.
Okay, very good. I'm glad we have them.
Can I just plug that the registration for the EV portion of the event is open now? If you just go to EV Rock Show, no wait, is that right? Rock EV Show, ROCEVshow.org. And you can see who else has signed up, and because it really is an eco fair, so it's so much more than just Arbor Day and EV Show. There's so much going on, and if you scroll down a little bit, Matt, you can see you can learn about solar for your homes. You can learn about how you'd have to change your house over if you want to support an EV at home. Anyway, so a lot of people will be there to talk to. It's a whole event.
And just a little bit of piece of information or a little input for myself, because last year, right, we had a huge line. It was all the way out the door. I know we talked about it a couple of times during these meetings, so maybe utilizing the wait time to give more exposure to other tables, because there was a handful of people that would come, grab their tree, and head right out the door, and bypass a lot of the tables. For just kind of input for whenever this joint meeting is, just make it more about the tree giveaway at the end.
Yeah, we should discuss that. Ideally, we can be outside this year, and that may also help a little bit rather than people coming in the door immediately to the tree table. We can maybe discuss some table positioning if we're inside of how to improve that. Even if people are waiting by other tables, they get to learn about them ideally in front of them, just like when you're at the checkout.
Yep. Yes,
Impulse
absolutely.
learning, huh?
So all the tables are kept inside?
So normally the event's outside, and by normally, I mean all of the EVs are outside, and we originally set up tables outside most years. Matt has a layout on the screen.
Oh, okay.
But in the past, 3-5 years,
brutal.
we keep ending up inside because it is so rainy or windy or cold or all of the above.
Tent blows away.
We're talking literally a week difference, but
Yes.
it's intense.
The end of April has been rough in the past years, because normally we've been having it coincide with Earth Day, and it's been rough. Our tent has blown over, another tent has blown onto our tent. It's been a time, but we've made it through and made it work, and we've had great attendance. There's been over 200 people most years attending.
Have you,
It's an understatement.
the plan is to start outside?
That is the goal. If that morning's weather is like sleet, we're not going to start outside. The EV cars will be, the EVs will be outside, but we will not. And by we, I mean Matt and I, and probably whoever is at the table with us.
Are you going to have, and I think in the past we've had some little items that were, I don't know if it was a coloring book or a planting guide, something appropriate for kids?
That's a great question.
I
In
don't
previous years,
I've seen things,
there's
but I don't
been
remember what it was.
a table that one of our lovely contributors has put together that is great for kids, including my son loved it last year. So there will be that, I expect again, but we can discuss maybe having a little coloring packet or something that can be picked up for kids.
Yeah, we really want to make sure this is a family event, and so I've converted my little Flintstone toddler car to all electric, so it is, foot powered, but it has like a little, anyway.
And
It's very
she
cute.
has like a little homemade EV charger for it.
It's a hit.
It's a hit.
Yeah,
The kids love it.
there's like a car wash. Yeah, so it's fun.
And I'll bring up again, in the past, we've handed out little granola bars. I know that has not exactly something to do with, pollinator gardens and native trees, but
We can discuss that.
I don't think we did it last year.
We did not.
But we got as far as
Is there
saying we
ever
would
food
discuss
trucks
it.
or anything that are there, or?
Just the Penfield Recreation.
Oh, Penfield,
um,
okay.
Their food counter is
Yeah.
so good, and they provide some plant-based options the day of as
Yeah,
well.
So we might not want to go
Okay,
against them.
all right, that's fine. I
Yeah.
just have, previous years, seeing what's around at other
Yeah,
tables.
I would generally lean toward using our money for other items that might go further and not
Okay.
produce trash.
Yeah.
That's true, because then little wrappers would be all over the parking lot.
Is it a zero waste event?
It is, I don't believe it's a zero waste event, but being EECC, I
Do
generally would encourage us to produce less waste.
Could it
if
be
possible.
Could it be a zero waste event?
I'll take that to the
that.
conversation on Friday. We've never hired Impact Earth to provide composting, but maybe we could this year.
It's pretty easy.
Yep,
Yeah.
they do events.
So, no paper handouts at our table? Only QR
Well,
codes?
Well, that's a
Or is that-
takeaway, not a waste, right? So you assume they're not going to
Okay.
take it and throw it away.
Sure. Okay.
Zero waste generally, like recycling, doesn't fall into the waste category.
Okay.
Basically, it just means that you're giving people avenues for whatever waste that might be there to either recycle, reuse, or turn into something else.
Yeah, but if we're not, if that's the only food offered too, then there's not really a lot of sources of waste other than,
I think
Yeah, it's
there
hard.
are, based on previous years at different tables. But I think we should talk about it at our event meetings. Just also considering who's been there in the past. There's a couple groups that I think would want to be notified ahead of time. But we should talk about it. It's a
Yeah.
worthwhile discussion.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking at Katie because she's on that committee, so I know she's going to be at the
Right,
meetings
right.
discussing it.
Well, even if you can't make it an official zero waste event, you can maybe say, here's some practices, or here's some things to
Encourage.
avoid.
Yeah.
Don't use single-use plastics in your handouts, and don't offer things that are going to be taken and thrown away, like just stuff like that. But
I think that's great. Yeah.
What is the earliest that we'll have access to the community center?
Most years, I think we get there at 9.
I think it's open by
But
8.
It's open earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what time, I'm sorry, what time does the event start?
10?
Because you have to be able to get those
Transport
200 plants.
babies.
That's what I'm worried about, because I'm going to be fostering some, but I also do have to run at 8:30. I have to get over to the town hall to my Little League team's in the parade, so I got to.
I mean, realistically, like, I can work with you if we need to pick any up Friday and, like, bring them over Friday, even if you have them available, like, in your front yard, and we bring the town truck over and just load it up. Like,
Does-
we've got some options.
Oh, perfect.
So we can touch base on that, for both of you, whatever is most helpful in that
I
regard.
live right on Baird Road, so that actually would be pretty simple.
Yeah.
Does Public Works have any, when you go to a garden store, you might find a big plastic tray or some sort of tray that numerous pots can be placed in to pick them up so that they're not moved, like one pot at a time from your lawn to the truck?
That's a great question. We can find out.
Yeah. The other thing that we discussed is that, in years past, we handed the plants out in paper bags so that it doesn't create dirt in in the people's vehicles. This year, are we going to be handing them dirty containers, or how do we clean them, or, do we use paper bags just to?
Oh, let's use plastic bags.
Well, as I remarked, and you noticed, that after emptying the pots out of my car, I said, "Oh, my poor car." And so, yes, just because they're used pots, there was an amount of debris that, will have to be raked out, swept out, whatever, at some point.
But
That's
then we're going to
fine.
fill
But that
them with
was
Then
a
we're
soil.
going
whole-
to fill them with soil.
That
And
was
they'll
a
be watered. They're
carload
going to get
full.
filthy over the next week that they're being fostered. So it's
Right.
more of just the, handing it to them and, trying to make it.
What dirt is in there, and there's going to be holes in the bottom
Right.
of a number
Sure.
of the pots,
But also, I mean, consider these people are getting plants
and their
with
gardeners.
dirt. So like,
And
it's
if they
probably
go-
a reasonable expectation that they might have some dirt with the plant.
Is it
Yeah.
though? Because I think that in years past, we've handed them a clean paper bag
So
and then
put
go
it,
home.
put
Now
it
we're gonna
on the
be handing them something
website. You will
totally
be
different.
picking up a dirty plant.
Well, the other thing is that most people going to a garden store are getting the same thing, a pot
Right.
with a hole in the bottom that they have to transport home, so.
So I'm planning on putting a layer of leaves at the bottom, so the
Yeah.
dirt shouldn't fall
Yeah.
through. We talked about that. We're trying to
Okay.
be
But
strategic.
just if they've gotten watered and, it's the same.
I think we can do our best to keep it relatively clean, and
Yeah.
between the four of us that would be working on this, I think we can handle that if the committee finds that reasonable. Sound good?
All right.
Cool.
Okay. Anything else on
It's free.
Arbor Day that we need to know about? Okay. The next topic is the Climate Action Plan.
The internal working group met this week and discussed the greenhouse gas inventory data and webpage content. We're hoping in the next couple weeks to have a webpage on our website specifically for the Climate Action Plan. And again, this is phase one, so it's the Municipal Climate Action Plan. And we'll be meeting again the week of March 30th to review what will be shared at committee meetings in April, because the town consultant will be coming to each of the 5 committees of the town, which are Transportation Committee, Watershed Committee, EECC, Trails Committee, and Parks and Rec Advisory Committee. Right? Is that the name? Sorry, that one always, I switch it in my head. So they will be presenting to the committees in April to get some feedback, as those are resident committee members, and that includes our committee meeting in April. So you will have a chance to get an update on the greenhouse gas inventory and the municipal CAP process and timeline. So you can prepare yourselves for that as well. With that, the town has determined that the Climate Action Plan Advisory Committee will consist of town staff members for this phase. We briefly discussed that as an option at our last meeting, but that has definitively been determined. And that's just because this phase, it's going to be most necessary to work with staff members as they have most effect on the future of this portion of the CAP. With that, there will still be 2 public information sessions, and I expect in the future they'll come back to committees at some point throughout this process.
Is there a town board liaison to this group?
That's a great question. I think mostly we've just been working with Kevin, so I don't know if officially he's the town board liaison, but he's the one that we've been working with.
I'll just add that the greenhouse gas inventory is accounting for Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, so.
I think I covered the information to share at this time. Does anyone have any questions relating to this?
There will be a handout that will be part of the drop for next meeting associated with the Phase 1 Climate Action Plan that is prepared by Colliers and kind of outlines what their agenda is going to be for that time.
Yeah.
And we're anticipating that EECC will have 20 to 30 minutes for that portion of their meeting.
Including a question and answer period
Right.
with that.
And that's at the next meeting.
It will be
Yes.
at the next meeting. We expect to have them at the beginning of the meeting, just to be cognizant of their time, so that no one can go into our other items.
Okay. That's all for Climate Action Plan. Anything else? Okay. We'll move on to World Water Day table.
Yeah, so in between last meeting and this meeting, John and Roy confirmed their availability to be at the World Water Day event at the Rochester Museum and Science Center. I'm just going to pull up because they did add that
Nice.
to their website.
And I just emailed you to the link to it as well.
I saw that. Thank you.
But the main thing that we wanted, or that I wanted to provide to you guys tonight is we made this poster board highlighting how Penfield and EECC contributes to protecting Penfield's waters. So it's got 4 different sections. Each section has QR codes. The top left would bring users to our public GIS viewer, where they can look at the mapping for all 5 of the EPODs. So, we discussed having some sort of tablet or some device at the table. I did bring the town's tablet there. You could use that. It's a bit temperamental. I don't know if either of you would be willing to use your own personal laptops.
I'll bring this one.
Okay, because that way you'll know how to troubleshoot it and all that if there is an issue. Yeah, so that way, I mean, people can use their own phones to scan in the QR codes and look up the information there, or they can use your laptop to look at any of these links. But yeah, so top left there was for our environmental mapper. Top right explains the different stream classes from the DEC, explains what some of the pollutants of concern are, and then it also has a QR code that brings you to the state's stormwater interactive mapper, and that's where they could get, because ours is only going to show those streams and resources specific to Penfield. That one would be for anybody to look in their community and look at what those stream classifications and what pollutants concern are in their area. The bottom left brings you to more of like EECC's role, so people can come up and talk to you guys about that, and explained what some of the main priorities of EECC are. There's a QR code there that brings you specifically to the sustainability in action page. So they'll see all those new updates that we contributed to the last meeting about all of the sustainability actions that the town is taking part of since the 70s. And then the bottom right is more of just a call to action, or how individuals can help, and then that's a QR code, the big one there, just brings you to the EECC page just to see how this community citizen group, the resident group, is making changes in their own community. So yeah, that's essentially what we had kind of discussed or had hoped what this event would be about, what EECC could table about. And so if either of you could take the board and the easel with you tonight, and we also have a tablecloth.
I gave it to Roy.
Oh, gave it to Roy.
That's what that is.
Yes.
Okay.
So that we'll have the big Penfield emblem, so people immediately see that you're with Penfield. And then, yeah, you guys saw that they have power and Wi-Fi, so that you guys can power up your devices and have internet access.
So that's an awesome board. I'm really
that.
impressed with that. I
And
hope we'll
we
get to
can-
use that on Arbor Day
Exactly.
celebration as well.
Yeah.
What else will be on the table?
Computers.
Well, the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's a
don't.
water focus, and most of our stuff
Yeah.
that we have is more of the trees and that sort of thing in terms
I
of.
was just wondering.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep it
Just
easy
the
for those
computers
two.
ideally opened up to the mappers that would be applicable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if like engineering, because I know that engineering in the past has like had handouts about stormwater ponds and things like that.
We
But
have some handouts still.
yeah.
They just haven't been updated in
What-
a while.
And that would be fine too, as a way to kind of clear some stuff out if it's not too bad. I mean, it is interesting because I did bring this up at the EMC meeting. And no other municipality has knowledge of being asked to be part of this. So it'll explain
Sorry.
what
Do
you showed.
Do you know if you were requested because you're connected to RMSC?
I don't, the initial email that came was addressed to me and a Jonathan, which I don't know if John is Jonathan.
Oh, like John
Yeah,
Getz.
because there was no, but I was the only email recipient on it. So it was really kind of odd, like they addressed it to, it was like, yeah.
Oh, so
Interesting.
maybe someone who was BCC'd.
Yeah, but they included
why
his
would they
name
have
on
them?
the,
Yeah.
And
you know.
I feel like if John was BCC'd, he would have shared that with us.
Yes.
If he didn't.
Yeah.
What
Yeah, I'm
is
not
this?
sure. Katie, do you know how you got an invite?
Through GRCC, Olivia just sort of was brainstorming with the organizer about
So now
who
you
might
might
want
have
to go.
gotten it if Olivia passed on your name.
Okay,
Because you attended the H. Joe Hero event, right?
yes,
So that might have been why.
okay.
Because Olivia manages both.
Oh, okay, that could be.
For Causeway.
We're just lucky.
Either way.
Say networking.
But it does explain why there's not a huge list of municipalities or other thing. It's kind of a lost opportunity for them. We'll see if this
And even
continues, we'll try to remedy that for
It
future.
could also just be that it was a little bit of a short turnaround.
Yeah,
And thankfully, we have this committee with members who are able to attend, but maybe the other municipalities didn't
Yeah.
have volunteers and/or staff that could participate, as it's on a Saturday.
Sunday, Saturday.
Or sorry,
Yeah.
Saturday,
Yes.
Sunday. Yeah, a weekend.
A weekend.
Yeah, so to clarify for everybody watching,
Yeah.
we will be there, or Roy and John will be there on March 22nd. That's Sunday. But the event is going on March 21st to the 22nd, that
Yes.
Saturday and Sunday.
And the only other group listed for Sunday is Color,
Penfield Green.
The only
no, it's
other
not
groups?
Penfield, Color
Color your community green.
Color Your Community Green. Yeah.
There's no
Yeah,
one.
so there's the list if you click on, if you keep going down. Guest presenters.
No, 'cause we're Sunday.
Huh.
Yeah.
Surprised they're not having the Enviroscape both days.
Yeah, me too.
It's probably staffing.
Could be. I can manage them. Squirt water here. It's very cool.
Guest presenters, great.
Yeah. Is there other programs? And I didn't click the program and activity one above. Is there? Seed ball making.
Have to try that.
That'd be fun.
That's cool.
I've done that
Okay.
before. It's-
Cool. Well, thank you again for volunteering to attend and bring these things. And you'll have to give us feedback on it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity to have our representation there, so. And I'm glad, I mean, to me, we have such a great story to tell that I think this is fun for us to do.
Great.
Okay, that moves us to Tree City USA.
Yeah. So, in the last couple months, we were notified that the town did receive the Tree City USA recognition for 2025. For Kenneth and for anyone else that's watching that's not familiar with Tree City USA, I'll just pull up the requirements there. But essentially, it is in order to qualify for Tree City USA, you need to have a tree board or tree department, a tree ordinance, which places regulations over public trees or trees on public property. You need to spend $2 per capita on tree maintenance and tree planting. I believe that's it, right? Is there one other one I'm missing?
You have to have a proclamation
Yes.
and Arbor Day celebration.
Yes.
Which we will do as part of our Arbor Day
Yes.
celebration.
And so yes, we got that. That's now our second year of qualifying as a Tree City USA.
And we have a little plaque by the supervisor's office.
Yes.
Do you want to see that?
And we also qualified in 2025 for the Growth Award. And the actions that pushed us to the Growth Award were related to our code updates for the environmental protection overlay districts. So updating it and adding in the policy for woodland EPOD replacement That's a specific policy that states town standards for replacing trees after there's been some sort of regulated activity that negatively impacted the woodland peat pod. So that update, but then also our updates to the woodland EPOD mapping. So previously, I'm not sure when the last EPOD mapping update was done for the woodland EPOD, but there were, boundary lines that would just arbitrarily follow parcel lines, and it was mostly relied on, site visits and aerial photography, and we developed a process where we were using all remote sensing to detect where the tree canopy was.
Matt prepared a process.
Well, yes, but it was also a lot of, because originally we were just using the LiDAR, which is effectively using imagery that detects where the surface imagery is, but it doesn't actually, the data doesn't know what's a tree and what's not. And so combining the elevation, the surface elevation data with the National Agricultural Imagery Program data. Basically, they have data that shows relative health of plants. It's the NDVI value for the surface. And so with that information, you can, tell the difference between a tall building and a tall tree, because the building is going to have a relatively low value because there's no photosynthesis occurring there, but the tree there is. So by combining those two, you can measure where there's healthy tree canopy.
So the rest of us heard Matt really got to geek out on it.
Yes, yeah.
But it was super cool. It was really interesting.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And yeah, so that's
The outcome is awesome.
Yes, yeah. So
Also, the stuff that goes into it is
But
really
the
cool.
process is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what I
thought so.
got my master's in, so I'm excited
I
to
am not
apply.
going to describe the time that we did it with pen and ink, leaning over maps, when you talk about the last
I did that in
EPOD.
stars.
As technology evolves, we evolve.
Yes. Yeah. And the process is very reproducible. When we get new NAPE data, which is on a cyclical basis, and then LiDAR, less so, but it's reasonable to believe that this area will get, the state as well as FEMA does FEMA data collection, or does LiDAR data collections relatively regularly. So yes, we should be able to keep updating it in the future as new data is made available.
Hey, Matt, that process was really cool. Did we share that process? I'm sure we shared it publicly here, which we did, but did we share it on the website so other towns could?
So in
Take it?
April, I'll be presenting at it's the GIS Special Interest Group for this region, specifically on this topic. So that was another new business item that I was
Yeah,
going to.
would you get me that just because the Monroe County EMC does have a GIS work group?
Okay.
And then that might be something they would indeed really be interested in.
I have to imagine they know about GIS SIG, but of course I will send them the information.
Well, it's
Are you looking-
the us of
Are you looking for the GIS SIG information or how this process
No,
is
I would
done?
say of this presentation that he's giving.
Yeah.
And then depending on how that goes or what it is,
Maybe
we might
after.
recruit you to do an actual presentation.
Maybe after the presentation, you can provide slides or something,
Yeah.
or a summary for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or a white paper, or in your spare time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, all of
Add
that.
it to the to-do list.
We have a
But yes, and even so today was the Arbor Day recognition luncheon, where Tree City communities, the tree line communities, as well as I'm missing the other one.
The campus one? Is
Tree
there-
campuses, all recognized by the Arbor Day Foundation, all come together and are recognized. They talk about their activities from the past year as well as what they're working towards in the next year. And then we also hear discussions from New York State DEC and any other agencies about what sort of grant opportunities are coming forward. And there's also other talks about general forestry health in New York State.
And thankfully, Matt was able to attend that today.
along
and make
with?
it back in time for our meeting.
Yes.
And was Kevin able to join you?
He had
No.
some
Yeah,
business
it's
come up
very
that
last
he needed to
minute.
handle.
Yeah. Just to get back, so with the recognition this year, we received another Tree City USA flag. The Growth Award emblem, so if you go and look at our plaque right outside the supervisor's office, it has the 2024, Tree City USA, but then the 2025 one specifically shows.
You got
that
it
we
slid in
the
there
Growth
already, or
Award.
that had come earlier?
It's already in there.
It's there,
Okay,
yeah, we got it,
yeah.
so yeah, we got these materials.
Last week?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sometime when you
They
were
were
out.
here
So
Monday.
between now and the last meeting.
We have a sign as well, right? Did
We
get a-
have two
one of the-
signs that we're working to get put up in the parks prior to our EV show and Arbor Day celebration.
Yes.
Do
And
you
they're
have-
like 2 by 3 foot signs.
Then we also got like other stickers recognizing
Yeah,
our.
was there any really good stuff that you were able to pick
Not
up
as good
last
as,
year? Not as good
the
as
street
last year, okay.
signs that we got last year. Those were pretty.
Okay. No, I meant at the celebration today.
Oh,
Was there-
so yes, the celebration, lots of notes, a lot of really good stuff. I know the one thing that everyone is eager about is what grants are up. So in 2026, the new round of New York State DEC grants are going to be for tree inventories. So we are all going to be eagerly awaiting that. They don't have an anticipated date yet, though. The hope is for it to be opened before the halfway point of the year. But they strongly encourage us to keep preparing. I mentioned that we had spoken with Davie Resource Group last year about what we may want to look for, what data we would want to collect in a tree inventory, and kind of start drafting an RFP for that. It was interesting that this is the first time that they're accepting applications that would be for a traditional tree inventory, but they're also considering combinations or exclusively remote sensing. So there would be opportunities to have, because yes, I think that most of the communities, and I think I took a tally of there were at least 5 communities that mentioned they had done tree inventories in I think it was between last year and basically because the last time they had a tree inventory grant opportunity was 2 years ago. So I think most of these communities were finishing the tree inventories that they started from that grant process 2 years ago. But most of those were for street trees, which are relatively easy to do through the traditional methods of driving along the right-of-way and collecting those. But those areas, those very dense parts of our town lands, our town parks, it's not as easy to do a tree inventory of. And so having a blend of having a tree inventory that shows the street trees and, very intensive and a lot of data collected there, but then the remote sensing to catch those hard-to-get areas could be an approach we take. The minimum grant amount would be for $50,000, max would be for $2.5 million. They are reimbursement grants, and they are not matching, so it would be full reimbursement. They are also anticipating another launch of reforestation or afforestation grants for this year too. That was what they did last year. Effectively, I think last year there was a focus on reforestation of disadvantaged communities, or at least communities that were disadvantaged were scored higher. And so that wasn't necessarily tied, or it wasn't mentioned during the presentation today that that was a focus for this reforestation. So we'll consider if there's a project that the town could do when more details are shared. The minimum for that one was $150,000, and there was up to $20 million set aside for that reforestation grant.
Matt, are the disadvantaged areas determined by the income standards of the area?
It's
Or is it
the
by?
Census Bureau puts together
okay.
and identifies those census tracts that are disadvantaged communities.
Okay, I didn't know if it was by the trees that had been hit by ash borers
No,
or
yeah,
a
it is.
flood or
So it's
fire.
like
Okay.
disadvantaged community is the larger scale, not
Okay.
just based on trees.
Right.
Okay.
So there's mapping for New York on that. In Penfield, the only park that includes is is Channing Philbrick Park, Linear Park.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
And then the mobile homes up off of 441. So that's the only part of the town
Great.
that falls into that category at this time.
Okay.
So we didn't have a project that could be completed and reach that amount in that area.
Okay.
And that's why we didn't submit.
Yeah, basically this section of town.
Yes.
here.
Yep. And not even all of what you're circling. 'cause,
Right.
Like
That's where I was
it kind of
surprised
dips
that, like-
in and out. It's
So you
that,
said Shannon Philbrick Park?
It's that west
Channing?
side.
Channing Philbrick
Channing
Park?
Philbrick, yeah.
Yeah, which is,
So, and it's the west side of the park.
But it's not, yeah.
It's not the whole park.
Oh, okay,
And-
because I was.
The ability
that
to
would-
spend that kind of money
that would
in a small,
surprise me.
that
The
small
west
of
side
an
is
area
mostly
would have been
forested
a
It
too,
is
so-
mostly forested.
Oh, no,
yes.
I-
So we did consider a project for that, and it wasn't significant enough
Yep.
to
Okay.
meet what they needed, or what the application needed. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matt, for taking time out of your schedule to attend that. I know I got to attend last year with Matt, and it's very encouraging, and it's great to hear the towns from all, or the stories from all the other towns and organizations that have been recognized, and I'm sure that's what your notes all are, is a
Yeah.
lot of the fun things that they've
A lot of
come up to.
excitement.
Yes, really very unique and creative programs sometimes that set a good model for us.
I sat down for a bit with the folks from City of Rochester to learn more about their work on treating ash trees. There was quite a few communities that were working towards that. Yeah, trying to understand the process for that. There was also, like, one of the keynote speakers was about the DEC Forest Health Update. So there was quite a few topics that they were covering, and one of them being emerald ash borer. One of the ones that I thought was pretty unique was that the oak wilt monitoring. So they do flights throughout the year and will spot areas where there is noticeable wilting, or basically where there's early onset trees that are defoliating or turning before any of the other trees are. And then they'll actually go down and take samples of the trees, because that's the only way to actually confirm whether or not the defoliation is related to oak wilt. Most of the sites that they flew, basically when they do identify it, those areas are quarantined, so that there's no, like, logging or anything like that would, possibly spread it. Or disturbances, I should say, not just logging. But most of the sites that they previously had quarantined were taken off the quarantine list. The one area that was added this year, I believe, is just south of Canandaigua. And so there was a lot of oak wilt that they identified there. So,
You should talk to Tim about ash borer and how we treat it here.
okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the city of Rochester has their own tree department, and they were saying that they have crews out 6 to 7 days a week going out and treating, I think it was, he said 3,300 trees for it.
How do they treat it?
So it's an injection.
Oh,
I mean, there's a few other different options. There's like this, basically, this liquid that you could pour onto the root system, but for them, they recommended that the injection is fairly straightforward and very effective. And I believe they've been doing. No, sorry,
No,
this
the-
is going back to the ash borer.
You're back to ash borer, okay.
Yes, so they're injecting this pesticide into the tree to prevent the effects of the emerald ash borer. Yeah, a lot of really good things that I've taken note of and are good things to think about as we approach putting together a forestry plan in the future. Yeah.
Okay. I believe that's the end of our old business. We can go ahead and move on to new business, starting with upcoming events.
Yeah, so originally when I had drafted this, there was still the there's a communication survey open, but that is since closed, but there still are opportunities to provide input to the supervisor's office and to the town about how the town is communicating and how they could improve communication and transparency among our town government. And so, yeah, it looks like they still have the date from February 28th, but if you go to this website,
Which is linked in the agenda. if
it's
you
linked
click
in
on
the
hyperlink.
agenda. Yeah, it looks like it's one of the news posts.
It's
but,
March 28th.
Sorry?
This upcoming one is March 28th. Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see.
it's Saturday, March 28th
All
at
right.
noon
It's the
Sure.
same
at the
Saturday.
community center.
Oh, okay. So yes, so that is the date of the one for March. Yeah.
And that is an event that Kevin attends, as well as our town communications director.
So not entirely,
Yeah.
EECC related, but just good knowledge for any town residents, so trying to promote it in any way we can. Moving into the next one, World Water Day, we talked about that previously, but yes, so the whole program is March 21st, 22nd, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Rochester Museum and Science Center. And then, of course, EECC will be one of the tabling groups on that Sunday, the 22nd. And then we have a couple programs at the community center in March. There's the plant-based eating and recycling right, March 23rd, and then there's a second session on May 4th. Both of those are 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the community center. And then you have plant-based eating for families. That one is a single session on March 30th, also at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the community center. And then we wanted to promote Good Neighbor Day, which is April 25th, 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll just pull up the event information for that. But essentially, that's an event that, at least recent years, it has been around the same time that we have our Arbor Day celebration. So now you won't have to choose. You can do, your Good Neighbor Day festivities the weekend before, and then join us the week after for Arbor Day. But essentially, Good Neighbor Day, they're asking for volunteers to help out with cleaning up yards of older adults, veterans, and those who are disabled. And they're looking for volunteers of all ages. And you can do that by calling, that's Sabrina Renner in the Penfield Recreation Office, and her contact information is there. I think there is its own Good Neighbor Day page. I'll pull that up too. Yeah. So this is its own page here, and it has all the information and contact information. But yeah, and there's a few pictures there just to give you an idea of what, if you are planning on volunteering, what you should expect to wear. You're going to be getting a little dirty, but it's all for a good cause. So, yeah.
How do people get on the list to be helped?
You call Sabrina Renner in the rec office.
Yeah, so the info.
I mean, not to volunteer, but...
No, I
Right.
understand.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Or email.
they call out in the event information that basically registering is registering to have your yard cleaned. And then the volunteering is obviously for volunteering. So yeah, either one, whether you want to register to have your yard cleaned or to volunteer, you're calling Sabrina or emailing her.
Okay, good. I just wanted to ask from this week or last week, how did the Mason Bee workshop go?
I went to it.
It was so great. We had a huge turnout, and I gave away way too many of my cocoons. I was sad to say goodbye to so many, but I feel like a Johnny Appleseed of Mason bees. Yeah, it was great. Everybody was really enthusiastic and got to talk Penfield pollinator pathway, and it was fun. Thank you for asking.
Great photos. I love the little fuzzy bees with all the pollen all over their backs.
That's good, okay. Do we have any other new business? Does anything come up?
Not at this time.
Okay. Okay, then that sounds like at this point in time, we have the next meeting is April 9th. Wow, April.
I know. It's going by too
Um,
quick.
And at this time, if there's no other business for us to manage today, I call this meeting of the March 12th Penfield Energy and Environmental Conservation Committee adjourned.